What is going on, everyone? Welcome to another very exciting episode right here on the MIgardener channel. In this episode, I'm going to be sharing with you how to keep your family safe when consuming leafy greens in the new year. Now, leafy greens are something that I think gets a really bad rep because of all the news articles, social media posts, and all this hype around foodborne illnesses when it comes to E. coli, listeria, salmonella, and many other foodborne illnesses that come onto leafy greens. Now, leafy greens are not inherently bad. In fact, they're some of the best foods you can be adding to your diet because they're rich in vitamins, minerals, and fiber. Fiber is something that you're just not getting in most of the foods in the standard American diet because most foods that are heavily processed, fast food, junk food, they're lacking all forms of fiber. And if they do have fiber, it's usually supplemental fiber that's not natural. It's not attached to leafy greens. It's kind of an isolated fiber. And so I don't ever like things that are kind of fortified because they're not the real thing of what you're normally getting. And so leafy greens they're so good for you. And anyone would agree that you should probably be eating more leafy greens. However, they're also the same people that say you should really be careful of eating leafy greens. So how can you have both? Can you really have your cake and eat it too? Can you really eat your lettuce and yet not eat it at the same time? I don't think it's possible. And so there's a lot of fear around leafy greens, and so much so that the Consumer Reports just posted a magazine. You guys have all been so fearful of growing lettuce and consuming lettuce because of this Consumer Reports article, which I appreciate them posting, but also don't appreciate it because it doesn't have all the information. And unfortunately, when you don't give all of the information or give really simple solutions to the information or the problems that they're outlining, it can just cause blanket statement fear. And so I'm really hoping that this video will help you guys understand that you can in fact eat greens and be safe in the new year. And the reason why I say in the new year is because they're expecting 2020 to have the highest uptick of foodborne illness reports out of any year in history. And the reason why they're expecting that is because 2019 was higher than 2018, and 2018 was higher than 2017. We're seeing a what they call a parabolic curve where it is exponentially growing with the amount of foodborne illness reports. And that's because the way that food is being grown and the way food is being shipped and processed it needs to change. It absolutely must change. But there's some stuff that you can do to be the change. And so that's what we're going to talk about in today's video, because lettuce is something that you can be growing. Lettuce is something you can be growing hydroponically, like we are. You can grow it in containers, like we've done in videos. I'll post those in the description box below. Lettuce is also something you can be growing outside extremely simply. We grow, on average, about 20 pounds of lettuce per year. We grow lettuce almost every day of the year. And yes, we're here in Michigan. We grow lettuce almost every single day of the year. There is no reason why you can't do the same. Now, it doesn't matter if you're short on space because we have videos on how to grow it in small spaces, in containers, like I said. So you can have a small space and grow lettuce. You can have raised beds and grow it. You can have it hydroponically and grow it. You can grow it. And that's what I'm getting at, is that you don't have to go to the grocery store and buy lettuce that's been grown unsustainably, fed with manures and sprayed with manures and watered with manures, shipped thousands of miles, that is a monoculture crop that is just absolute garbage and not the same quality as what you're going to grow right from your home. And that's good, by the way. Alrighty, so I got my little helper with me, and we're going to be talking about how to keep your family safe in the new year when consuming leafy greens. So, you want to try some lettuce?
I like to try some.
I know you did. You had a salad last night, but do you want to try some fresh?
Yeah.
What do you think?
I like green and like dark green.
You like dark green?
Yeah, and I like green.
You like the light green?
Yeah, like a white.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So you like lettuce, is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay. So, how I feel safe feeding my child greens that I haven't even washed.
Ranch.
With ranch, that's right.
Yeah,
All right.
with salad with ranch.
Hold on just 1 second, my love. Hold on 1 second. I know you're excited about salad. We'll go make one for lunch. So the reason why I can feel safe giving my child greens that I haven't even washed, and I'll eat some myself in case you're wondering. Yes, I also feel safe eating them myself. And so how I feel safe is because of how they're being grown. When I grow stuff myself, whether it's hydroponically or out in the garden, they're vastly different in how they're being cultivated, how they're being watered, irrigated, and fertilized, because the methods are totally different. You see, when you're watering your crops, we're going to start with irrigation because that's the first big difference. You're watering your crops with either rainwater, well water, or city water, one of the three. And in a home garden, those three are very safe. They're very low in bacteria. They're extremely safe to the point where you could probably feel pretty safe even drinking any of those three. So I'm not saying to do it. I'm just saying you probably could feel safe in like a worst case scenario, doomsday scenario. You could probably feel safe drinking one of those three. Whereas the water that's being irrigated on crops from large commercial farms is coming from settling ponds. These settling ponds is water that is flowing from many different farms. Some have tens of thousands of cows and pigs and chickens and sheep and goats, all these different animals that have bacteria in their gut, then have manure that then is washed into these drains, washed into these ditches, and then the water enters settling ponds, which is then pumped onto the crops. I wouldn't ever feel safe in a doomsday situation drinking the water that comes from those settling ponds. No way in the world would I ever drink the water coming from them. But likewise, it's sprayed onto the crops, and these crops are considered ready to eat. You don't cook lettuce. And so when you eat this, it's basically like you're drinking that water. Anything that's been sprayed on these crops, you're consuming. And so that is where the danger comes in. So the second way is with fertilizing. When you fertilize your crops, you might use worm castings, compost, or some commercially available compost or fertilizer that's well balanced and organic. Whereas with fertilizers in the form of manure coming from these large farms, there's no testing done on them. They're just spraying them on in the form of sludge water. They'll literally take this big vat of manure, add in water, make this big sludge slurry, and then spray it on the crops in the form of a foliar feed. If they don't do that, they apply the fertilizer to the rows and use that to feed the crops. So there's a huge danger there in the sense that the same fertilizer that is entering all of your the settling ponds that they're watering the plants with is the same manure that they're feeding the plants with. So you're getting a double dose of danger. Double dose of danger. I like that. It's got a good ring to it, and not in a good way. So it's good to know what you look at it. And then the third way that the home differs from the conventional is with the processing. When I go to process this, I'm going to wash it, and I'm going to wash it in fresh water, and I'm going to consume it. But because it was already safe to begin with, washing it is just an added step of safety. Whereas the washing process that happens on these large farms, they call it triple washed, they call it ready to eat. And even in this Consumer Reports article, they say what you need to know to protect yourself and why triple washed isn't risk-free. And that causes a lot of fear because so many people, they trust that triple washed mark. When it says triple washed, they think, well, it's been washed 3 times. It's got to be safe for me to eat. But it's not. And the reason why it's not is because your lettuce has been washed in one system of recirculating water. It moves on to another system of recirculating water and another system of recirculating water. The problem is that it's recirculated water. All of the bacteria that's being washed off these greens can build up in any 3 of those systems because they're not washing one batch of lettuce and then draining the water. They're recirculating it. And then more fresh, dirty lettuce comes in. And over time, that can travel from system to system to where triple washed means nothing at all. And that's why I always recommend, to keep your family safe, is to wash your lettuce with fresh water, even if it says triple washed.
Grow your own as best. You have to go to MIgardener to get some lettuce. But if MIgardener don't have lettuce, you can go to a grocery store.
Exactly. High five. Just what she said. First, you have to go to MIgardener. You have to buy lettuce seed. And if we don't have lettuce seed, then you have to go to the grocery store. I love it. Absolutely love it. So yeah, no, growing your own is definitely the best way to do it. But if you have to buy it, make sure to wash it. And then the final thing to make sure your family is safe when consuming greens is to understand the higher risk greens that are out there. I think most people just think all leafy greens are dangerous, right? Wrong. The leafy greens that are most dangerous is romaine. When it comes to the percentages of foodborne illness outbreaks, 90% of foodborne illnesses come from romaine. And that's because it is the most consumed lettuce type, and it is also it's the most widely available. So there's more people eating that than anything else. So washing it, growing it your own, and eating the right type of greens will really help to keep your family safe in the new year. And then the final thing that I did want to say is make sure to be a voice. Be a voice for accountability. You know, I think there is nothing wrong with going to your grocery store and saying, I would like to buy lettuce, but I would like to buy it only if you can find a local grower. Lettuce is something where we can grow it almost any day of the year. We know plenty of farmers around the area that grow it in hoop houses, low tunnels, and even cold frames. They grow their own lettuce and they take it to local farmers markets, 365-day markets where it's open year round. They'll take their lettuce. And if they can grow lettuce, so can somebody else. And that grocery store can source it. I know they can because they're out there. And you just have to put enough pressure on them to say, look, I don't want to support lettuce that's being grown in Arizona if I'm here in Michigan. That's several thousand miles round trip where a truck has to take it there. It's not only going to be less healthy for the environment, it's not only going to be more expensive, but it's a less quality product because it was picked several days ago rather than right fresh from the farm. So put some pressure on your local grocery stores and tell them that you do care about the quality of the produce that they're stocking. And then finally, what you can do is you can support your local farmers directly. There are a lot of CSAs and a lot of people that are doing the right thing, that are not trying to do this on such a massive scale that it requires these unsustainable systems. There's farmers out there that are doing the right thing and they're taking the steps to make sure that their food is safe. And so by trusting those small farmers, it's also going to be a really safe way to feed your family greens in the new year. And so I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you learned something new. And as always, this is Luke from the MIgardener channel, reminding you to grow big or go home. We'll catch you all later. See ya. Bye.